Hello, I'm Abby, and today Alia, Bianna, and I will be talking about stress, the feeling of emotional strain and tension, a feeling that we could all relate to. Although necessary to our growth and development, it can be very overwhelming at times, especially now with the whole COVID-19 breakout. We all have been feeling a little stressed, and it's important to watch over our well-being. So, how is everyone coping during this lockdown? Let's take a look. First off, it's important to identify which coping mechanisms are negative before we reveal some effective ways to cope. Bianna, care to elaborate?
Sure. So, research shows that since quarantine began, sales in alcoholic beverages have seen a huge increase, rising by 55%. With all the worrying about contracting the virus and a rise in unemployment rates, people have been turning to alcohol as a way to distract themselves from the harsh reality of today. According to Anthony Dukes, professor at University of Southern California's Marshall School of Business, online sales of alcoholic beverages have been increasing with everybody staying home. To compensate for local bar meetups, virtual cocktail hours on popular social media sites such as Instagram, Snapchat, and Zoom have been more prominent these days. This has become a real concern because there has been a link between alcoholic behavior and a rise in suicides and domestic violence. But on the bright side, Zoom has helped organizations like Alcoholics Anonymous hold meetings for those with addictions, helping to deal with those feelings of temptation during this isolation.
Speaking of isolation, the whole social distancing thing has really made some people feel disconnected from one another. But it doesn't have to be that way. Right, Alia?
That's right, Abby. Even though we may not be able to go out and see our friends and families like we normally would, there are still many ways we can stay connected with everyone. With quarantine regulations all around the world, it's important to check in on those close to us. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, otherwise known as the CDC, virtual communication with loved ones helps ease feelings of loneliness and isolation. They suggested staying in touch through text messages, emails, or video chatting. Many people have been taking their advice and are staying socially active on popular social media sites such as Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, or Zoom, just to name a few. As you can see in these graphs provided by the New York Times, people are intent on staying in touch, with video chat apps seeing a rise in their number of users. House Party leads with a 79.4% increase, Nextdoor.com with 73.3%, and Google Duo with a 12.4% increase since the first COVID-19 death. The beneficial aspects of virtual interactions may be more meaningful, because without the distractions from the public environment, we're able to focus on personal relationships and listen to what each other is saying.
When we aren't catching up with one another, many of us have found other ways to not only pass time, but to de-stress, which is where those efficient coping methods we mentioned before come into play. Some popular activities amongst many people are cooking and baking, which have provided some comfort during these tough times. According to the Smithsonian's Magazine article on benefits of cooking and baking, making food has a therapeutic effect on the body. Studies have shown that these small activities help in bringing relaxation and happiness into a person's life. In times like these, it's easy to feel out of control, and spending time in the kitchen can bring a sense of power back. When creating a meal, it's up to you on what you want to cook, how much you want to cook, and how many ingredients you want to add. The Economist was able to compose data from Google and Instagram to show the increase in interest for baking. In the graph, you can see a rise in baking trends on Instagram, as well as baking-related searches on Google since March. If you're interested in making your own meals, you can find recipes on websites like YouTube, All Recipes, the Food Network, and many more. With all this free time, many people have spent their day just lounging around and forgetting about their physical well-being. If you have time after all this baking and would like to burn off some calories, Alia will inform you about how to stay active during this crisis to not only keep you physically healthy, but mentally too.
Absolutely. With everyone being confined into their homes, it's easy to fall into the routine of being inactive, especially with local gyms being shut down. Although some relaxation is good for the mind, it's important to keep up with our physical activity, because not only does it keep us in shape, but it also has some stress-relieving effects as well. According to Harvard Health, aerobic exercise is key for your head just as it is for your heart. It reduces the levels of the body's stress hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol while stimulating the production of endorphins, the body's natural painkillers and mood elevators. As for the World Health Organization, they have provided an explanation as to why exercise is an efficient way to deal with the stress that COVID has brought upon us. They mentioned that even just 3 to 5 minutes of physical movement, such as walking or stretching, can help give the day a routine and relieve mental tension. If you would like to get started on your own routine workout, a great example to follow is the popular 2-week shred challenge by fitness YouTuber Chloe Ting, who has garnered well over 75 million views with her videos and 87 million views with her hashtag on TikTok. It's great to see everyone finding amazing ways to deal with this whole crisis that will be beneficial in the long run.
Thank you, Alia. To summarize, everyone has found their own rhythm and routine when it comes to dealing with the stress associated with COVID-19. Some have gone down a negative route but are getting the necessary help they need. Others have channeled their energy into more productive activities, like conjuring up some delicious meals and treats, while also making sure to stay active and keep their bodies healthy. It's also nice to see that during this time of distance, we all have managed to keep in touch with our loved ones. It's important to remember that you are not alone. We are all in this together. Thank you for watching our video, and remember, wash your hands and practice social distancing.